Shalom, shalom, guys. All right, so this is my mom's infamous tater soup recipe. She passed away in January, went to be with the Lord, but I got this fine recipe from her before that, praise the Lord, and our entire family loved this. It was always a good hearty meal. It fed a lot of us for the cheap. So basically, I'm going to run you through what I started out here with. I started out with about 7 pounds of russet potatoes. Now I have the big family crock pot, so we cook a big pot of it every time we do it, because let me tell you something, this will actually last in the refrigerator for about a week, and it's still good then. But I'm going to show you the items that I used. I'm going to walk you through what I've already done here, okay? So y'all look at this yumminess as I talk to you. So I like my spuds in this. I like to cut some smaller and some a little bit larger. That way the smaller ones break down as they're cooking, and you want it to cook till it's about like that consistency right there, until it's kind of folly aparty. You know, you can smush it with a fork, about like mashed potatoes, okay? So about 7 pounds of those fills this crock pot up. And then I cut about a good medium to a large onion, and I put it in there as soon as I put the potatoes in, because I want this onion to caramelize. You don't really want big chunks of onion in this. You can cut the onion however you want to. You can see maybe right there I cut them in a little bit bigger strips, because they just caramelize up because we cook them so long. So I started this at about 10 o'clock this morning. I had this full of potatoes and that onion, and then I poured a box of chicken broth in it. I think it's like a 32-ounce box or something like that. Couple cans of chicken broth, or one of those boxes will do. And I put it in here about 10 o'clock this morning on high, and I sealed it up and just let it cook. And I did put a little bit of salt, a little bit of soul seasoning in there. That's because we like that a little bit. You just, kind of season it up a little bit and just let it cook. And then what you're going to need there it is, a can of evaporated milk, 1 can, and I got this big thing of great value cheese. This is a 48-ounce 3-pound block. I'm only going to use half of that, guys, only half of it, right? So I like to, I've let this cook from 10 o'clock. It is 4:45 right now, and it's about right. That's about 6-7 hours of cooking in the crock pot. Now you can do this on the stove in a regular pot. It'll get done a little quicker. But I like to just let the crock pot do the work. All right, guys? So I'm going to pause you real quick, and when I come back, I'm going to show you how to put all this together, because there is a technique to it. So I've opened my cream. We're just going to pour that straight in. We call it cream here in the South. It is evaporated milk. Do not get condensed sweet. It will not work right. You want evaporated milk, and this will do perfectly. Now, if you only have just some 2% or some whole milk, you can use that. That'll be just fine. I just pour 1 can of cream in this big pot, or evaporated milk, and now I've opened up my cheese. I got my cheese ready to go. And here's where the technique comes in, guys. You do not want to just throw it in there. It will clump up and it will take forever to melt down. But what you want to do is just get this regular American cheese off in there. You can do it like that right there. Just layer it across the top, float it on in there. It don't matter if you break it up a little bit or if a piece sticks to the other, but you want to kind of do it like that right there. Just kind of give each piece of cheese its own space. Boy, there's a lesson in that, ain't there? We all need our own space sometimes. Then I take my spoon and I just push it down there amongst the taters. Now you can see it's already starting to get that creamy potato look to it. And you just keep doing this. And you use, for 7.5 pounds of potatoes, you're going to use about 1.5 pounds of cheese, maybe 2. Just once it starts getting the right consistency, you'll know about the right consistency, about what you want to eat. This cheese is going to thicken this broth up a little bit. That chicken broth adds another depth of flavor as well to it. Mama didn't always use chicken broth. I don't know if she ever used it or if that's just something that I added to the recipe. But look, can you see how the cheese is already starting to melt into that? Look at that yummy goodness right there, guys. This is gonna be so good. And you can see that my crock pot's starting to run over. And that's all right if it does. You can just pour a little bit of this off into another container, because basically this is all done. And you know, if you have to mix a little bit of it up in a separate bowl, well, that'd be all right. You just kind of play around with it. Ain't nothing done. And I'm gonna tell you what else. You can use whatever tater you have on hand. It doesn't have to be russets. It can be Idaho spuds. It can be them little red ones. You know, just whatever you got on hand. We were a family of necessity, guys. We had to use whatever we had to feed. I had 13 cousins. They all had parents and my grandparents, and you know, there was a lot of us. So these recipes, a lot of these were done out of necessity. My grandpa, he was a very wise man. He lived through the Depression. He showed us how to eat. So I'm gonna continue doing this, and I'll be right back with you with this creamy goodness. All right, guys, I wanted you to see this and see how I fix it. It's no big deal if you start to run the crock pot over. Look here, I just take some of this right off the top here, and I pour this in this bowl. Now let me tell you what we're gonna do with that. We're just gonna set it aside. We ain't throwing this yumminess away. We're just making room in the crock pot to put more cheese. So I'm gonna set this aside, and then when we eat a bowl of this soup and get some of these big old spuds out of here, after we eat a bowl or two, I can pour this right back in it and juice it up, and it's still gonna be good. So we don't waste nothing around here, all right? We don't waste nothing. I used to eat head cheese. I still do if I can find decent head cheese. And if y'all don't know what that is, it's souse meat or hog head cheese. They used that in the Depression and stuff. You eat every bit of it. You didn't throw nothing away. And that's some of my most favorite food. My wife says that it's not food, but I happen to disagree. All right, we've used half of this cheese, and we're actually going to be using a little more. That's why I'm telling y'all, you just kind of have to buy a little extra and, you know, just kind of feel it out. There's no solid recipe, but this is a good recipe. And, you know, them recipes that you got a taste of, and the whole time you're cooking it, you know the ones. Ladies, y'all know the ones. Guys, my chefs up in here, y'all know them recipes that you taste it the whole time, and then whenever you're finished with the masterpiece and it's perfect, you're so full you can't enjoy it. But you know, you watch others eat it, and that just does your heart good. So I'm gonna continue putting this cheese in. Oh wow, guys, look at that creamy goodness. We are getting close to being thick enough right there. We are getting close to being thick enough. And see that other that we took off, if we happen to get it a little bit too thick, we can add that back in. So I'm going to actually put the lid on this and let it do what it's going to do for a minute, and then I will come right back and I'll show you what we top it off with. All right, guys? All right, guys, moment of truth. This has been sitting here and heating up long enough for this cheese to have melted. I did end up using more like 2 solid pounds of cheese in this, but y'all see my technique. Oh yeah. Oh, that is smooth and silky. Oh, look at that goodness. That's what you want right there. And if you prefer it to be a little thicker, well, you just cook it on down a little, leave the lid off and let it cook a little bit. Maybe add a little more cheese to it if you want to. There are no rules here. There are no rules to this recipe. There are no rules. Just cook some taters and an onion. Throw some cheese in it, basically. But let me bring you to this part, and then we'll finish up with this video. These are some of the things that we like to top it off with. Some real bacon pieces. I like those, and my wife does too. I like this French onion dip. It's basically sour cream with an onion. I like to put in there. My wife loves her sour cream. It's always good with sour cream. And then some of these right here is the vis la resistance. You know, that French word that I can't say. Chicken bites, baked snack crackers. These are delicious just by themselves. But you put it with some of this soup right here. Oh, let's look at that again. We got to look at that. Look at that, guys. Oh, that's going to be so good. Is your mouth watering? I know mine is. All right, guys. We're about to have supper. And, you know, as always, I'd like to thank you for stopping in with me. Wish you a perfect peace. Shalom, shalom. All right. That's my mom's tater recipe. Did not die with her. And now you have it. So God bless you. And, well, let's get it.